We're live on Facebook now. You can say hello.
Hey, good morning. Top of the morning, people.
All right, here we go. Hello, everyone, and good morning to you. I have a very special guest here in my studio here. I have Keith A. Lewis Jr. What's up, Keith? Come on now. Give us the good news, man.
Good morning. Thank you for having me on.
You have so much going on. You know what, ladies and gentlemen, and fathers, I want you guys to tune into this interview because he is going to tell you all about the things that he has been doing and all about the things that you can do as a father and as you can do just as a male here, not just in Atlanta, but also in the world. So, Keith, let's talk to us about I'm a Father first.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for having me on, first of all, this morning. I appreciate the opportunity to come speak about what we're doing in the community.
Amen. So,
What's the first thing you want to talk about?
Well, let's talk about, I did pull up some statistics in regarding fathers and why there are so many things going on in the world with children. And, you know, when some of the statistics talk about 60% of the children are suicidal because of their fathers not being in their lives. And about 50-something% of the children are have bad behavior because of their fathers not being in their lives.
Right.
What do you see? And I know you talk to a lot of fathers. Let me turn this on just a little bit. I know you talk to a lot of fathers. What do you see is the main reason why fathers separate from their children?
Well, I mean, that's definitely an interesting question first because the main reason is man, it's a wide variety. I would say first the social emotional learning. We're partnered with Atlanta Public Schools, so one thing that they've really intentionally built upon is SEL. A lot of people don't know what that is, but basically it's social emotional learned behavior. So from a young child, my son is 3, my baby boy. My oldest daughter is 16. So in that gap right there's a lot of soft skills that are created that are essential to maintain a relationship as you grow.
Absolutely.
So I think the fruit that we're receiving now is actually from the tree of the disconnect of the parents.
Right.
So I think we blame kids for where they're at. We blame school. We blame everyone, but we're not looking at ourselves.
Right.
I know way more single people than I know married people. So I think that's what we have to look at. What institution do they come from?
And, you know, also, we know, we've heard that, you know, there's a lot, I know this is what I hear being a single parent and being a female, that, you know, there's a lot of things where women meet these guys and they think that they're going to be these big guys or whatever the case would be. And there's reasons why they meet. Some of them, they meet them while they're influenced by alcohol and drugs. And the people that they actually meet are not really the people that they really, really are. And then when they come off of this alcohol and this drug, they see this other person. And they're like, okay, we've already had, you know, relations. And then come out of that relations, there's a child. And then the father's like, okay, I like this woman because she was under the influence and didn't know that really wasn't her.
Right.
She was the gin, she was the Hennessy, she was the marijuana, she was the crack or the cocaine. And then they realized that, wow, that's not the same woman that I thought she was.
Yeah. Well, I could say for me today is day 400 of being sober from liquor. I don't do any alcoholic beverages.
Wow.
I do believe that those things, those mind-altering chemicals, they definitely make a big difference. And then if your emotional intelligence is low, your decision-making, your critical thinking, it's a lot of skills that have to be put in children from birth all the way to the time they start interacting. You know, we got a boy in our program, 14, has 2 children on the way.
14?
14, been shot, and he's on juvenile probation. But he's one of the smartest and most attentive kids that I have. He's the one that I pour into because while the other one's thinking it's a joke, he understands because guess what? The stats show that coming out of poverty, you're going to end up as no graduation or low chance of graduating, a high chance of teen pregnancy, dropout, and incarceration. He's experienced everything, or even gun violence. He's experienced every negative outcome of a poverty mindset and a poverty location of where he's living. So we have to, meet children where they're at. Like you said, you meet people who are under influence. These kids are 12 years old, smoking weed, 10 years old, and that ain't nothing new. People act like it's new, but it's not. So I think we have to meet people where they're at, and then we have to actually show them the change that they need to be. And you got to be a walking, living example the same way Jesus was.
So now that he's in your program and you're pouring into him those good spirits and those great things, how has he changed and how has he been able to influence other kids that are in there?
Well, I can say one. I'll show you this picture on the Facebook Live.
Okay.
You see, he did what I'm about to do and chop the top.
Oh, wow. He's a handsome guy,
Yeah,
too.
he's a handsome young brother. You know, I was going to cut my hair on Tuesday. We do a free barbershop in Best Academy.
I seen that, yeah.
I was going to cut my hair, but it wasn't enough time to do it in front of the kids. But as you've seen from my older pictures and the one that's on your flyer, I usually have my hair low. But I grew it out just in the wintertime last year, and then I enjoyed the freedom. But then I saw the effect of all these young men who I wanted to look differently. And I couldn't even pour that into them because of how my hair was.
Wow.
So as y'all see, the next time you see me, I'll be back low, looking clean like a politician. But at the end of the day, you have to be diverse. You have to be able to meet them where they're at. You have to be relatable. So I enjoy being comfortable with these young men. But to answer your question about the young brother, he's on probation instead of incarcerated. So that's the first thing. One of the partners at the school, he works with these kids already in the juvenile space. So he got them from going from incarceration to actually being on probation. Then two, he now gets Keen Talk and he gets a haircut twice a month for free. But my next step is really to tap in with him a lot more. We got to get him into some job training. He's a 10th grader, so he has to start preparing for ACT, SAT, so he at least has the option of college. But he has to tap in with my community partner so he can have an internship and he can be able to get into the workforce the way you mentioned.
Amen. Now, does he have a relationship with his mother? Where's the mother in all this?
Well, I haven't really tapped in with her. That's the part of the next steps as well. Because, you know, that's one thing I've realized this year. I have to have a better connection with the parents. Because what happens is if the school is pouring into you, these programs are pouring into you, but we don't know the mama. We don't know the daddy. The daddy may not be there because boys in my program, the daddy isn't there. Or they may be around the corner, you know. So it's like the average father is usually not in their lives, but they are trying to figure it out. So when you say the disconnect, a lot of times it is the substance, it is the employment, it is the ability to even provide. So if any woman is wise enough, you'll know if a man can't provide, he's going to go the other way.
Exactly.
He's not going to stand up and continue to feel less than, knowing that it's more than right now. So like you said, knowing who you are at this moment, but who you're growing to be, everybody don't have the patience for that process.
That's true. That's true.
So we're going to be patient.
We have to definitely pray for them.
Program.
Now, and tell us about the Lewis Agency. I know Lewis stands for Lead Everyone with Individual Success.
Yes.
Let's dig deep into that. We're going to get back to I'm a Father first because as we celebrate, you know, Martin Luther King this weekend, you know, and I know you're going to be doing some great things on that day as well as we spoke. So we want to make sure that not only they know about I'm a Father first, but they also know about the Lewis Agency and all the other things that you're doing. Yeah,
well, the Lewis Agency is what elevated I'm a Father first. If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be able to pour into these children the way I do. We brand professional athletes. My main client, actually, he just partnered with LeBron's agent, and he's running their football side now.
Wow,
so
that's awesome. Congratulations.
Business that I think they said Rock Nation. No, not Rock Nation.
No, I say congratulations.
Like, not Rock Nation.
No. Congratulations.
Yeah, Clutch Sports, and it's incredible to see him go from not making it in the league to becoming an agent recruit because he had the relationships, to he had to design the flyers because that was his part in the agency. He worked for another white Jewish agency. He grew his process up, his recruiting up, and now he has over 40 players.
Wow, that's awesome.
His brother's only 35 years old, so I can say I learned from one of the best. You know, and now at this time with the Lewis Agency, we're doing branding for a lot of players that are going to the draft, a lot of players that are currently in the league. We can't really talk about a lot of stuff because of confidentiality.
I understand.
But the main thing about this is those players pour back into these children. So we do camps, the New Norm camps. It's a Lewis Agency activation, but it brands I'm a Father first. Because the goal is, for me, is like this year with the APS, we'll be doing them at Lakewood and Grady. I want to have all fatherless children. There's 51,000 students in APS.
Wow.
We've identified probably about 20,000 kids that don't have dual parent households. So realistically, how can you expect that system to thrive without resources?
Exactly.
So the Lewis Agency is going to be throwing some great camps called the New Norm camps. We're going to be doing those March, April, and May. And then over the summer, we do camps, training, and then we have a football program, the Atlanta Kings. It's all under Father First, but the Lewis Agency is the machine that brands it, that brings in the partners.
And I'm already connected. I'm Lewis. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, we already family. So okay,
that's
we're in the building. Let's
That's
go.
right.
So
That's how we're going to do it.
Me and you're going to do some incredible things.
And you know what? Also, I want to. I'm a Father Fest was birthed within 90 days. That's just phenomenal.
Oh yeah, you read that up. Yeah, you're a researcher.
Hey, got to do my job.
Yeah. So like, and that's why I came up with the 90-day brand build. I do have a site, 90daybrandbuild.com. And what that came from is the sports relationships allowing for the I'm a Father First to grow from a T-shirt to a sports center within 90 days. So from the day we've made the first T-shirt in 2017 to now being partnered with Atlanta Public School, it was the branding, it was the vision that all tied in together to make it so nationally recognized.
Now, one more thing I do, this is just starting in my head, because I was on like a couple of days ago with my son. He listens to, he attempts to listen to hip hop or whatever the case may be. And I was listening to some. I'll try to listen. I don't listen to some of the stuff that's being played now because I know, because of me being educated and researching the music and how it's hypnotizing our youth to be disrespectful. Correct. It's disrespectful to their parents, their elders, their just adults, to themselves. So how can we? And is there anything that somebody is trying to do to allow these artists to transform their way of ministering music to our kids to change their minds? Because there wasn't always a time where music was causing kids to be disrespectful and just not even look at themselves as the kings that they are. We need some type of turnaround. I did a challenge a couple of weeks ago. I said, in the first quarter of 2020, I want to see our old school educational rappers to come out and try to overtake this rap group, because the kids are just their kids are just out of control.
I mean, I think it all comes to dual accountability and responsibility, because when I think about the T.I.s and the Killer Mikes, these guys have overcame and they do good, but at the same time, people only acknowledge their greatness because of who they've become in society at this time. Especially like a T.I., just being honest. Because he was arrested with all the guns and the drugs and all the stuff that he's went through that all of these young people go through. But the reality is he wouldn't have the past that he has if he wasn't T.I. There's a lot of things that people in the community don't agree with the music, but if that person come and wave to the kids, give out a book bag, give a free haircut, then they condone it. It's given as a pass. So if I'm a kid, I'm like, my elders now, or my elders, 30s and 40s, we grew up off this at this point. So we listen in the future too. But at the end of the day, it's telling you Miley Percocet over and over again. You're chanting that in your head.
Right.
I talked to an educator this morning. He said, the kids are 12 years old popping perks. And I'm like, I've gotten that from the dentist before. That ain't something you want to take.
Right,
like a 12-year-old on Adderall and on Percocet, that really doesn't give them much chance to have a clear thinking mind.
They don't have a clear thinking at all because they're not that mature.
So I would say it's dual accountability to answer the question about the music, because you're not going to stop the music, but it's like highlighting stories like Juice WRLD. This kid was popular, but he had a song where he was crying out for help. He said, I see your shadows on the wall and all this stuff. It was a very dark song.
Yes,
and then he dies before you know it. I mean, these kids like him and 6ix9ine, the kid with the tattoos on the face, they're only experiencing fame for 6 to 12 months, if even that.
Right.
And then now they've become another part of what the system has already created.
Yeah.
So I think we need to, like you said, the old schools, that may be cool because they need to speak up.
Exactly.
Because even in community work, I have to know how to honor my predecessors. Like, at the Millionaire Mastermind thing, honoring Alice Bussey and Jerome Russell. Those are people who were before us. But it wasn't until I got 30 years old that I understood that you got to pay homage.
Now, I'm not knocking their hustle. I just want them to say, I just want them to come out. If it's wrong, it's wrong.
Yeah, if it's wrong, it's
or
wrong.
If you're going to give back, give back.
Yeah.
But, there's a trend that I'm seeing these kids, they listen to this music and they're doing these crazy dark things. And I know there's light. So I want to be a part of, I just want to let you know on air that I want to be a part of whatever you're doing. And if it's even getting to the moms, I was a teenage mom and, trying to help out,
I don't touch the mom.
Yeah.
Because even as a man, when you need to give that advice and that guidance from a non, one thing I talk about in my book, The New Norm, is making the connections pure. You meet people and then next thing you know, you go off into the same stuff you're trying to mentor the kids about.
Right.
I see so many grown people, so they meet, you pretty, you cute, you handsome, and all your morals go out the window.
Right.
You want to do whatever to get whatever you're trying to get from that person. So for me, it's like less clout chasing and more purpose-driven actions.
I'm sorry. I'm just
programming
some stuff. Yeah. So, I mean, I just, I love what you're doing. And also your hashtags are BYOB, which is be your own boss, not bring your own bottle. So get that out.
Because the main one is WBYB, who's behind your brand. But I did put the BYOB for the 90-day brand bill because at the end of the day, everybody asks me, Keith, how can I do what you do? How can I just, and you don't want this life if it ain't called for you.
Exactly. Stay in your lane.
Yeah, you got to
stay in your lane. Because always people see, they see you doing great things, and they're like, wow, look at Keith. Yeah. But they don't know what it took Keith to get to where he's at now. I mean, you go in and there's you may have a meeting or whatever you do, and you meet with these boys. Now, there may be about, out of your boys that you have, about 10 of them that may come in on Friday or whatever day that y'all meet in. 10 of them are like crying and they're hurt and they're feeling down and they're, coming to you and pulling on you. Now that drains you, you know what I mean? And you're hurt, you know what I mean? Because you're trying to help these boys. You feel their pain. And then people are like, I want to be like Keith, but they don't have that strength that God gave you because this is yours and nobody else can have it.
Yes, ma'am. But then on top of that, you have to have that emotional stability to be able to go have the meetings to get the money and the resources for these children. What I'm learning coming from the inner city myself, I'm an ex-offender. I've been shot twice. I've been to prison. My daughter was born while I was in prison.
Wow.
So
thank God you're here.
Oh, yeah.
And you're leaving your mark on these kids and your purpose. Oh, yeah. Walking in your purpose.
My mom yesterday. My mom turned 70.
Oh, and happy birthday. I have that on my to-do list. Happy birthday to your mom.
Yes, ma'am. She's out in Cozumel, Mexico, so I'm so happy for her and my father.
Wow.
And that's my prayer for the rest of their life. They get to live it the way they deserve.
Amen. So happy birthday to your mom. Enjoy yourself. Be safe. And, just do what you do, and thank God for you and your son here, Keith A. Lewis Jr. Tell them how they can reach you, and tell them if a single parent is listening now, or if she has a child that is the fatherless child, how can they be a part of your program?
You can log on to imafatherfirst.org. So that's I am a father and then F1, not F-I, F1RST.org. So imafatherfirst.org, or you can follow us on IG. And then, honestly, you can call me personally right now, 404-951-8057. We're going to put you with who you need to be with if you're a mother. We do want queens to be a part of this. If you're a young child, a young person that needs some support, like at the end of the day, social, emotional is what we're focusing on. We want more accountable to young people.
What we're going to do is we're going to play this song. This is by T.D. Jakes. It's called Where Are the Fathers? And then we'll be right back.
T.D. Jakes, Where Are the Fathers?
It says Where Are the Fathers?
Started flipping through the channels just to kind of drift away. Every other network showed the challenged and abused, and a sea of people laughing as the children sat confused. And I saw a mother pleading with her son to turn away from the lifestyle he had chosen, full of violence and hate.
Let's see if there's anybody. Hey, Ricky, how are you? Hey, Terry, how are you? Ricky from Baltimore. How are you? Arthur from Pittsburgh. And Terry, I don't know where you... Let us know where you're calling from. And if you are interested, I'm a father first. He's here. We want you to make sure that you mend those families. This is the time to mend broken families today.
The responsible ones, where are the fathers? How they helped to raise their sons? Look at the daughters. Do you see the violation?
You say this T.D. Jakes song?
T.D. Jakes and the Potter House Mass Choir.
Oh, okay.
Are you really even bothered?
So was that your maiden name? Were you married and your last name Lewis? Oh, that's your family name? Where your family from? Where you from?
Indiana.
Okay, yeah. My dad from Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Yeah, there's a lot of them up there.
Well, then I went downstairs to visit with a friend of many years. And in just a few
Yeah, I'm just on your page, on live.
he exploded into tears. Slowly he unraveled, lifetime packed with pain. I asked him for specifics. He attempted to explain. Said his wife and children claim he's out of control, and it's adding to the growing scars fully branded on his soul. Suddenly I asked him about the conflict
Dominion.
Who is?
The owner of the station.
Oh, for real? Okay.
There are the fathers,
Amen.
the responsible ones. Where are the fathers? Have they helped to raise their sons? Look at the daughter. Do you see?
Hey guys, we're on a music break here. So this is Where Are the Fathers with T.D. Jakes and the Masked Choir. Really powerful song for those the inspired and poor fathers who want to have that connect back with their children. It's very, very important.
Tell me where are the fathers? Somebody tell me.
So you're a real researcher, huh?
I
Yeah. So what are you by trade? A journalist or entrepreneur? What would you say you are by trade? So, but journalism has been your passion?
Actually, law.
Law?
Really law.
What kind of law?
Personal.
Okay. So you a lawyer too?
That's next.
Okay.
And now I'm standing in your presence.
Private investigation.
Your
Right.
compassion.
Because that's the business y'all did for the summit, right?
And I wonder
That
how
was executive protection.
without you for so long. All I've ever need is right here in your arms. Oh, Daddy, I'm so grateful. Hear my heart inside this song.
Got your pretty picture on there. Everybody don't got that picture on there, do they?
No.
You trying to entice some clients? Hey, I'm gonna protect you, big guy. So you a trained marksman and all that stuff?
No, I'm probably not going to do that, but I'm licensed.
I have a daughter.
50% of the
Every day is a celebration. She's free of that.
It's Vision Radio 105, right?
Hello, everyone. We are back in studio here. We just had our little music break. I hope you guys love that song and allowed it to mentor to your body, your minds, your souls, and your spirit, because we are seeking Where Are the Fathers. I'm here in studio with Keith A. Lewis Jr. He is the CEO and founder of I Am a Father First. If you are a father and you're looking to regain that relationship or reconnect with your children, and also not just your children, but it may be your nephews that are seeking a mentor. It may be, some of your even your homeboys, boys that may be seeking a mentor or just need some male role model and just some male intuition and some male guidance. We have Keith A. Jr. here. We're going to let him talk about the things he's doing. And also, I'm a father first because we want to make sure that we carve this into your brain, because 2020, we want to make it totally different from what 2019 is. We want to make sure that we lift up the fathers of today. We're not trying to pound you down, but we want to let you know that there's an avenue for you to go and to regain that relationship with your kids, and also just to know yourself if you're a father. You may not even know what you are supposed to be doing as a father.
Right. Yeah, that's one thing we are working on is an early childhood program as well. Because the fathers, like with my son, he's 3. It's so different seeing the young men who come in that may be 28, 30, that just had their first child. And, man, the zest and the zeal that they have in their eye versus seeing a father coming into that middle and high school who looks sleepy, who looks unenthused about this stuff, Right. So it's like we have to keep that same tenacity through the whole process,
Amen. And also too, we're living in an age where our elders, the grandfathers and the great grandfathers, the uncles and people like that who have passed away and gone to their places of, where they rest, and they're not here to tell our young men or to love on our young men like we had when we were growing up. My father actually passed when I was about 8, 9 years old. But when he passed, my uncles and my cousins, all my male all the males in my family stepped up to the plate. They made sure that I had. They made sure that they came pick me up and took me to McDonald's or took me to the park and things like that. But a lot of kids now, they don't have that because they're older. The grandparents are older. They pass.
So your father passed when you were 8?
Yes.
How did that affect you, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, you know what? It affected me. Well, see, my father and I, we were really, really close.
Yeah.
He taught me how to fish. He taught me how to do a lot of outdoors type of things, and it affected me. But because when he passed, my grandfather was always there, and as a parallel.
Yeah.
So when he passed, I just went to my grandfather. My grandfather
So
picked up where my dad left off. My grandfather picked it right up. So I didn't really miss him per se, but I did. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, definitely.
I did, and I do.
My partner Jermaine Clark, he's the co-founder of I'm a Father First. He calls it sub dads. I call it father figure. He calls it sub dads because we think of everything as sports. So he you got to sub in. He said when you pitching baseball, you got to bring a sub in if the starter ain't doing right.
That's good. I like that.
So that's kind of what we want to create. We're doing a challenge right now, looking for our first 20 mentors. I have a goal that is not for everyone's ears, but it's 20 to start. God gave me a vision when I started I'm a Father First. If you get 20 strong men, you can change the world.
Amen.
But I've really been I got about 8 or 9 that are dedicated, that's going to be there, that's going to pay dues, that's going to support. But then I have a whole lot of support that's just soft touches. But like I told someone in the meeting yesterday, you have to turn a soft touch into a hard impact.
Amen.
You can't just meet someone. Nothing is by happenstance. When we met through the MMA Summit, we built from there because it's been a genuine support.
Amen.
It's been a kindred yoke. It's things that make people connect to each other.
And it was just, and I'll tell you, shout out to Velma as well. Yeah. But it was by God's grace because my younger son is a father. He is a fatherless child. His father is out there, but I had to pick up the slack. And my story about my son, I think I've told you, is pretty unique it's more unique than anybody else's that I know. But I had to do what I had to do, and I am a mother, and I'm not seeking just anybody to be in his life, and I chose to be single at this point because I know what he needs, but I want God to give it to him. I'm not going to go out there and try to get a relationship with any man just because the world says there should be
and that's what happens. But I think we have to put in this early childhood. We have to put in this middle grade, all the way up to the seniors. Everyone has to have a reprogramming of the brain. And to me, that's what the new norm is. The new norm is basically a revitalization and a stabilization plan for a community. So if you meet someone who's only singular focused on seniors or juveniles or ex-offenders or homeless, they might not get this vision. It's not for everyone. But when I had a very influential meeting yesterday, I was confirmed that what this is. It's about changing the whole community from the current norm, the desensitization that's taking place from the music, from 19-year-old boys ODing off drugs. That's pain. It's a different source for something for a child 18 to not want to be here. So we have to really look at ourselves as their predecessors. What did I do to mess up what's going on?
Right.
And be reflective and self-transparent. And once you actually ask those questions, God is going to reveal to your humble heart, not your egotistical heart. He's going to speak to that heart and say, hey, this is how you can actually be the change you want to see. So that's kind of how I look at it.
And you're looking for 20. Now, can I ask you this? Do the 20 have to be here in Atlanta, or can they just be abroad?
No, because we want 20 across the nation. We've started chapters with different athletes. That's, again, where the Lewis Agency helps, because my vision is for the NFL, the NBA, and the MLB to adopt this. But what has to happen is our numbers have to be so strong they can't resist it.
Amen.
Because just like you're not searching for a man to fill a void, I'm not searching for a contract to fill a void.
Absolutely.
I'm searching for the solution. So when I walk in a room, a person knows I've met a part of the solution. Then you don't have to sell anything.
Amen.
We past selling at this point.
Well, look, Keith, I want to let you know that I'm here for you, and if there's anything that I can do to, not I won't say I, but what God will allow me to do or put in me to do, you let me know. You can always, you always have a place here with Positive Vibes Radio to talk about the things that you're doing. And if not here, you can always come on the R&B station, which is Positive Light Radio, getting ready to start at 1 o'clock. God bless you, and may God continue to bless every man that comes into the Lewis League. And also, I'm a father first, and may everything that your hand touch turn to gold.
Thank you. I receive it in the name of Jesus.
Amen. Here we go.
That was good. You were very good.
Back to the lab. All right, guys, that was my interview with Keith A. Lewis Jr., you got to get the information on. He gave you all the information you needed. So if you're going to be a part of this 20 and you're serious and not playing, I want you to make sure you get in contact with him. I'm getting ready to transition over to the R&B station. I'll see you guys over there at Positive Waves Radio. Talk to you later. God bless you. See you, Josh. Hi, Josh. How you doing? But see you guys. I got to get off of here and go do some other things. Talk to you later. God bless you.